Ostertag, so huge defensively, forcing misses. Stockton backdoor.
And Stockton combining. The Jazz up by 6, and Phil Jackson calls for time. Once again, we'd like to thank the folks at Miller Brewing for the outstanding views we've been getting here in Utah from the Miller Eagle. The Eagle, an airplane developed by Miller to be a unique new eye in the sky on sports television.
Well, when the ball goes into Karl Malone, at least once a game, John Stockton gets one of these right to the basket. Ron Harper gets on the wrong side, anticipating split, tries to hold on. The perfect pass, and John Stockton with the finish.
Remember what Barkley said at the half, that Stockton can beat you in so many different ways. Change your pace, change your direction. The ball right on the money, perfect pass, and the big four all delivering tonight. Scottie Pippen, I think, in the third quarter has been spectacular in the post. They should come back there. And you look at the plus-minus for Karl Malone when he's in the game. The Utah Jazz have been unbeatable.
Oh, there's Dennis Rodman with his first field goal in 3 games.
And his first offensive rebound in this one.
The Jazz 63, the Bulls 59. 7.5 remaining in the third quarter. Back for Dennis Rodman, his first field goal attempt of the night. Karl Malone not able to hit the outside shot. Hornacek broke it up. Unhappy, thought he had picked it off.
Rodman, who was told by Phil Jackson to stop shooting the wild ones and get underneath the hoop and get to work. Finally, a stick back.
Dennis Rodman being very polite to the courtside cameraman who was in his way, it should be noted, as he inbounded the ball. He was very careful.
It's a scary thought when you have to note being nice.
Travel on Jordan. Bill Oates with the call, and the ball will go back to the Jazz.
Well, Michael Jordan unhappy with this pass by Ron Harper, as Ron Harper really never had control of it. Tried to get it to Michael Jordan, who didn't have his feet set on the wall.
The Jazz with the ball, leading by 4. Russell eluding Pippen. Rodman very active here in the third quarter.
And the Jazz not able to get to their offensive glass. Ostertag was great. Karl Malone's got the 3 fouls. Has to play very smart here.
Nice pass. Jordan to the cutting Longley. And the Utah lead is down to 2.
Oh, the best job by Luke Longley all series long of moving without the ball. When the double team comes, finding that lane, finding the open seam, and finishing.
And Longley 5 of 5. He has 10 points. A mean foul against the Bulls. It's on Harper, his third.
Karl Malone coming to double team, and Rodman just did a good enough job of getting in the way of Greg Foster to enable Luke Longley to find that opening.
Correction on that foul. It's Rodman, not Harper, so that's 4 on Rodman.
When Stockton runs that UCLA high post cutoff from the guard, you got to step out and bump him. Rodman just tripped him, though. Highly illegal.
Halfway through the third quarter. Shot clock at 5. Stockton fires the 3. Kept alive by Russell.
Marv, the Utah offense is not executing. Chicago's defense is pushing them out, forcing them to play one-on-one, and that's not their game. They got to pass and cut, screen away.
Harper reaching in, looking for the steal, and a foul is called.
Stockton's going to cut off right here. Rodman does not even touch him. Little stagger there, a little bit of acting right there. My mistake there, Dennis.
Whoa, a rare moment for our friend Bill Walton. I should say a rare public moment. There are many private
Thank you, Marv, for clarifying.
Yes. Howard Eisley has checked back in, replacing John Stockton. They double up on Hornacek, who's able to find Ostertag. Back for Hornacek. That time mistimed by Ostertag. Looking for the tip. Chicago down by 2. Jordan got the step. Jordan has tied the game at 63. We're approaching 5 minutes remaining in the third. Malone finding Isley, but has to bring it back out. Longley doing a good job boxing out. Ostertag has to come back outside. Shot clock running down. Here's Malone. And Longley rebounds. Kept alive by Harper.
Everything in the favor of the Chicago Bulls right now. The season's on the line for the Jazz.
Jordan. And Russell able to lunge for that rebound. Yes, it has come down to a best-of-3 series. The Bulls still do have the home court advantage in these two. In Chicago, Ostertag with 11 points, and words between Karl Malone and Brian Williams at the aftermath to the basket by Ostertag. And double technical fouls being handed out by Bill Oakes.
Well, Brian Russell went up to shoot that basketball, and I think Luke Longley took his eye off it, the defender, and that left Ostertag wide open. Luke Longley, who has been playing well, falls asleep at low left of your screen. Oh, gee. Forearm shiver by Brian Williams, who evidently took exception to something before that, but I'm surprised Brian Williams did not get the worst of that.
And Williams still talking to Karl Malone. Karl Malone's got to forget about all this and start playing basketball. He has not had the impact that he had early.
And the technical was just called on Brian Williams. There was no technical on Malone, so Hornacek hit the tee.
Karl Malone walking away as Brian Williams keeps talking.
So the Jazz up by 3. And here's Williams. Ostertag again with the box out. Oh, a dangerous pass by Isley was saved. Bad pass by Hornacek.
Chicago's defense is so good, Marv. They can just shut you down almost at will.
Nice play by Hornacek. Jordan had the move on Isley, then Hornacek came over for the recovery.
Oh, Michael had the mismatch and was signaling to his teammates, swing it around, but Jeff Hornacek coming down just in the nick of time to help out Isley to knock it out of bounds.
And Dennis Rodman hearing the boos as he checks back in, replacing Luke Longley. Longley 10 points on 5 of 5 from the field. Only 4 rebounds. Shot clock. Brian Williams. Oh, he enjoyed that one. A little stare from Brian Williams.
Well, Brian's fired up after that technical foul. An excellent defensive play to knock one away from Malone, and he wanted that one inside.
If Utah is going to win this game or has a chance at the championship, it's got to be Karl Malone time. Guys are coming around his back. He's being pushed off the box. He has got to get to the hoop and take over the basket area. He's not doing it in the third.
Well, Karl is trying to hold that position, which is where he wants to get it inside, but he's got to protect the passer to make sure they hold possession of the ball.
Steve Kerr back on the floor, played 9 minutes in the first half, missing on both shot attempts. Putting moves on Jordan. Crowd was looking for a foul, and then on that second penetration dribble, the foul was called. That's 2 on Michael Jordan.
And you can look at the expression on Michael's face and saying, hey, ref, you make the call. Don't let the fans talk you into a non-call here.
That was team foul number 4 on the Bulls. Jazz do not have any. Russell for 3. Yes. Brian Russell with a second three-pointer. Brian Russell, a Chicago native, born in Chicago, grew up on Chicago's south side, and then moved to California, where he began playing basketball at the age of 11. He's been an important factor in this series. And a indicated. It is on the Bulls. It is on Rodman. It's number 5 on Dennis Rodman.
It looked like Dan Crawford was first going to call a foul, then going to call no foul, just the ball off Malone, and then changed his mind one more time as Karl Malone sold it hard to the referee.
And it puts Chicago over the foul limit. So Utah to the line when we come back. Back in Salt Lake City, a look at Michael Jordan. You see the ice bag being applied to the back of the neck of Michael, who has been exhausted right from the start, playing with what are being called flu-like symptoms. Dennis Rodman just picked up a 5th foul a moment ago, and he's been playing well in this 3rd quarter. So Rodman sitting down, replaced by Jason Caffey, making his first appearance of the night. Karl Malone is headed to the free throw line. Malone is just 1 of 3 at the line. We have 2:35 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Jazz up 69-65. This game 5 of the best of 7 NBA Finals series. Series tied at 2. Malone missing badly on that first shot. A reminder, looking ahead on Friday, we hope you join us right here in prime time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast time, as Michael Jordan and the Bulls go up against Karl Malone, John Stockton and the Jazz in what could be a decisive Game 6 of this NBA Finals series right here on NBC. So the Jazz now lead by 5 points.
Michael Jordan catching a quick breath here. Rodman with 3 phantom calls, now all reserved in the front court for Phil Jackson.
Scottie Pippen.
Great play, Brian Russell. Absolutely perfect.
Howard Eisley running the team at point guard to provide a rest for John Stockton. Caffey up on Malone a bit too aggressively, and the foul on Caffey. So Malone is headed back to the line with the Bulls over the limit.
Offense for Chicago, it doesn't happen, but then Brian Russell comes over the top and taps it to himself. The 2nd, the 3rd effort. You gotta love those Long Beach State guys. Brian Russell, Bob Gross from the Portland Trailblazers.
I knew there was a Trailblazer from the 70s tie-in somewhere along the line. Yes, Brian Russell, a 2nd-round pick in '93 out of Long Beach State. Came up very big in the playoffs last year, in particular in the Western Conference Finals against the Sonics.
The Utah Jazz have not committed a foul in this 3rd quarter. Big reason for that is the Chicago Bulls have stopped attacking the basket.
The Jazz 72 and the Bulls 65. 7 unanswered points for Utah. Michael Jordan on the bench getting a rest. Tony Kukoc back on the floor with Steve Kerr. Ryan Williams getting down. And Karl Malone rebound.
Karl got away with it over the back that time. He's playing with 3 fouls. Can't give up good position to Caffey.
And Phil Oakes with a double foul indication. One on Malone, that is number 4, and the other on Williams for Brian Williams, his 2nd, and Jerry Sloan pulling Karl Malone. So he sits down with 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Eisley able to make the recovery. Minute 25 remaining in this 3rd quarter. 1 second, a quick release. Williams with the rebound. Bulls with the ball down by 7 points.
Oh, this is where the Jazz fell apart last time when Karl Malone went out with foul trouble. They've got to keep their poise.
And no Stockton in the game either.
Scottie Pippen is fouled. And he was very fortunate. He had lost the handle, but he thought he was fouled before the call was made.
Along the baseline a moment ago, the double foul called here. Caffey, his 4th foul there for Karl Malone. That's his 4th. And now he's got to sit down, I would think, until about the 10-minute mark.
There's Greg Foster. Played briefly in the first half. Foster checking back in. Kukoc. Foster rebound. Just under 1 minute left in the third. Utah with the ball up by 7. And once again, they are on their feet at the Delta Center. Oh, what a move by Isley, splitting through, but came up with the air ball. Williams whiffed on that outlet attempt and was fortunate to recover. Chicago only 1 for its last 7 from the field. Pippen with the step. Here's Pippen drawing the foul. Foul on Foster. And Pippen headed to the line. A reminder, following the game on most of these NBC stations, your local news, and then the Tonight Show. And for those of you who would like to continue with the NBA Finals, we'll have a post-game special, as per usual, on CNBC. That's immediately following our telecast. The entire cast to recount the game with highlights. We'll have live press conference coverage, guests, and a whole lot more as we look back at tonight's Game 5. That's the NBA Finals post-game special on CNBC immediately following the game. 30 seconds remaining in the third. Utah by 5. Oh, Pippen nearly picked the pocket of Isley. Now to 20 seconds. 5-second differential between the 24 and the game clock. Hornacek. Rebounded by Pippen with 10 seconds in the quarter. Kerr for 3. Kukoc missed on the tip. And that's the end of the third quarter. Hornacek comes off the mark on that last second attempt. 3 quarters complete here in Salt Lake City. It's the Utah Jazz 72 and the Chicago Bulls 67. We'll be back here in Salt Lake after these messages from your local station. You are watching the NBA on NBC. Well, as we wind down in Game 5 and head to Game 6 in Chicago, guys, many questions concerning this particular group of Chicago Bulls. Win or lose this series, and for Chicago, it's their 5th finals appearance the past 7 seasons.
Well, no matter what happens tonight, Friday, or Saturday, this is still a championship caliber team. And so why change anything? I don't think there's any question that Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson will be back. However, Dennis Rodman will not be.
If your motivation is money, you break it up now and you start looking. If your motivation is to keep something special going, let them play as long as they want. They're all willing to play on 1-year contracts. And I just think that this team, with the exception of Dennis Rodman, will be back primarily intact next year.
And as the fourth quarter gets underway, Brian Williams called for the foul. But still many questions concerning Phil Jackson, who has made it clear that he would accept a 1-year deal once again, although there's been so much speculation about that, and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Well, I think Phil Jackson wants to ride it out as long as Michael Jordan primarily is part of the Bulls, and as long as Jordan and Jackson are there, that means Scottie Pippen will be there. There's only one other coaching job open, that's the Vancouver Grizzlies, who supposedly have an offer out to Phil. I don't see him taking that under any conditions. I see him taking a year off before he does that. He'll be back with Chicago.
But still, there is the question concerning Michael Jordan. Could he be playing his final games as a member of the Chicago Bulls? We're talking win or lose here. Brian Williams tying it up with Antoine Carr. The Jazz up 74-67.
This man, Michael Jordan, is still the best player in basketball. He's on top of his game. He is so sick right now. He'd love to be lying down in a bed somewhere, and he's still playing well, although had the very quiet third quarter.
Chicago's missed 7 of their last 8 shot attempts. Reach-in foul charged to Greg Foster. The Chicago Bulls have been in a 2-2 position in the NBA Finals just once during their previous 4 title runs. That was back in '92 against Portland. And And they went out to beat the Blazers 4-2. That was their second of 4 times. It is 2-2 right now in this game number 5 as Michael Jordan cuts it to a 5-point Jazz lead. Game 6 coming up in Chicago on Friday here on NBC starting 9 o'clock Eastern. Game 7, if necessary, in Chicago on Sunday night. Chris Mars back on the floor. Had some good moments. Not there, though. Coming up short.
But he's willing to take shots. And right now, some of these guys from Utah are tightening up a bit. How long are you going to go with Karl Malone on the bench? He's looking up at Jerry Sloan and saying, put me in there, coach.
Malone playing with 4 fouls. So he's been sitting here at the start of the 4th quarter. Antoine Carr. And here is Chris Mars.
and that'll buy Karl Malone another 30 seconds or another minute of rest. Time and score will dictate when Karl Malone comes back in.
Chris Mars with 11 points off the bench. Jordan, yes, the Jazz 77 and the Bulls 71 with 2 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter.
And you're talking about him leaving Marvin, not playing anymore? He's having the time of his life out there.
Well, we talked about that with him the other day. And I said, could you actually sit out next year? He claimed he could. Whether he's just positioning, we don't know. Jordan with the rebound. Jordan pops it down to Kukoc. Kukoc for 3. Yes.
Well, of course, this is not as much fun as baseball. No way.
The Jazz leading by 3.
Well, Tony Kukoc might as well only take 3-point shots. That's all he's made in the last 2 games for Chicago.
Carr's pass broken up. And Pippen able to come up with it on the deflection. Jordan fires for 3. Yes. And he's tied the game at 77. And he did it in casual form. And you can see how exhausted Michael Jordan is. No reaction after the shot. Just happy to go to the bench as timeout is called.
Poise, confidence, discipline. The exchange between Pippen and Jordan. Once, twice, right back. You do it, big guy. Pump fake, freezes the defense. The jumper, net. Then he staggers back to the bench, near exhaustion, ready to fall over. He's got his team tied now. Where is that bench? He gets there and sits back. And they put the ice bag on his neck. He won't even take the Gatorade.
He doesn't want to waste any energy. No high fives, no lifting water to his mouth. He is exhausted.
A heroic performance by Michael Jordan. He has played 35 minutes. He has scored 30 points. And the game is tied at 77. Karl Malone is back. Here's John Stockton. Chicago can recapture the lead. Utah has led by as many as 16. The Bulls at 1 point, led by 1. Russell on Jordan. Anderson cheating over. Shot clock at 7. Jordan shooting. Yes. Chicago 79 and Utah 77.
It was his burst of speed to get to the position that set it all up, and then he just outweighted Russell facial. Where's Karl Malone?
Ball played by Williams. Illegal defense for the first time against the Bulls.
Well, there's this cut across by Michael, getting open, wants to really drive, but not a good enough spacing by the rest of the Chicago Bulls, but just that little shake was able to get Brian Russell on his heels. Michael just laboring to get back to that defensive end, just trying to get to the finish line.
Brian Williams poked it away. Bulls have outscored the Jazz 12-5 in this 4th quarter. Jordan with 9 of those 12 points. Kukoc coming out to help on a double. Russell for 3. Brian Russell with his 3rd three-pointer, and Kerr and Stockton became entangled. They've had a very physical matchup these past couple of games.
John Stockton and Steve Kerr, as Kerr got his marching orders from Phil Jackson to be more physical. And that's very tough against the little John Stockton. All Kerr could do was take Stockton down.
And double technicals called on Stockton and Kerr. These two guys go back quite some time. John Stockton played at Gonzaga, had a terrific career. That's a reaching foul. Hugh Evans with the call on Hornacek. And Steve Kerr was recruited by Gonzaga. Went out to work out at Gonzaga against John Stockton and changed his mind. Ended up on Arizona, yes.
Stockton torched him there. Steve coming out of the Los Angeles area, Pacific Palisades. Then he gets up there on the recruiting tryout trip and was embarrassed.
Jordan for three. Kukoc able to hustle it down and fire.
The other nice shot, Tony Kukoc.
And then Kukoc deflected it out of bounds.
Chicago appearing to have the same problems they had in the fourth quarter of game 4, relying so much on Michael Jordan when the other players get the opportunity, unable to deliver.
Stockton with the step to set it up for Hornacek. Ostertag with the rebound. And last touch by the Bulls. It will be Utah ball. We have 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Jazz up by 1.
Small's front line for Chicago can get beaten on the offensive glass. Brian Williams, Jordan, and Pippen are going to have to do most of the rebounding.
And the foul on Kukoc. For the Bulls, their second team foul. The Jazz also have 2.
Kukoc gets caught here on this screen, and when he realizes he's dead, he just grabs on, tries to pull Hornacek down. Easy call. 2-shot foul for Hornacek, one of the great free throw shooters in the history of the NBA.
How about Ostertag? 14 rebounds, 7 on the offensive glass. And the Jazz now leading 81-79. There's Greg Ostertag in his second season from Kansas, a #1 draft pick. Last year made major strides this season. And this for Hornacek. Chicago with the ball, trailing by 2. Jordan trying to slow things down. You can see him motioning over to Kukoc. Jordan with the step and lost it. Brian Williams with the recovery. And another rebound for Greg Ostertag.
An unbelievable battle underneath the hoop, Marv. Guys are just flying, flailing away. Ostertag has been the best one tonight underneath the hoop.
Malone set the pick. Kerr trying to draw the foul. Williams broke up the pass. Shot clock at 3. Russell for 3. And Stockton able to reach for it. They get the new 24.
Ostertag continues to do damage to Chicago on the offensive glass, keeping balls alive.
Hornacek passed on the 3 and lost it. Here comes Pippen protecting the dribble, spinning his way, and fouled by Russell. Brian Russell committing his second, just under 6 minutes remaining. In the fourth, timeout taken, the Jazz up by 2.
Miller Genuine Draft presents a classic moment of the NBA at 50.
Tonight we look back at Michael Jordan's highest scoring NBA Finals game. Was Game 4 of the '93 Final Series against the Phoenix Suns. Michael Jordan with 55 points, 21 of 37 from the field. The 55 tied Rick Barry for the second most points scored in a Finals. Elgin Baylor scored 61 against the Celtics for the Lakers back in '65. In recognition of this classic moment, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. To check up on the condition of Michael Jordan, let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. I just spoke with Chip Traynor, the Bulls trainer, And Chip says Michael's just still fatigued, totally fatigued. He doesn't know how he continues to play, but as you watch him, he is struggling and still out there trying to give it his all. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thanks, Ahmad. During that timeout, Jerry Sloan told his team, I'm very happy with this type of effort. It's this type of effort that's going to win the game. Then he looked right at Greg Ostertag, and he told him, get ready for the ball in front of the rim. He says, it's coming to you because they're going to be double-teaming Karl Malone the rest of the way. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. And Scottie Pippen to the free throw line. He's 4 of 5 at the line. 5:57 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls are down by 2. What a follow-up to what took place here on Sunday night. The Jazz beat the Bulls in a dramatic finish, 78-73. Look at the Big Four, led by Michael Jordan. The game on Sunday, the second lowest scoring game in NBA Finals history, but will go down as a classic by virtue of that finish. Utah scoring the game's final 9 points, and we have another dazzling finish developing here. The game tied at 81. Dennis Rodman back in, playing with 5 fouls. Karl Malone playing with 4. Malone with a bad pass, but a foul is called. Jazz bailed out on that foul. Only 6 on the shot clock. It's called on Jordan, his 3rd.
Utah having a lot of trouble delivering the ball. Michael Jordan grabbing Brian Russell from behind. Karl Malone just 5 points and 3 boards here in the entire second half. Played by foul trouble. He's got 4.
Both teams with 3. Team foul. And pass. And the ball back to the Bulls.
And that scoring slack picked up by Chris Morris earlier and Greg Ostertag, both them with 11 points as Karl Malone's scoring is down.
Jordan being played by Russell. Pippen gets the grip. And it will be Utah ball. Timeout situation. Chicago 4 and a 20 remaining. Utah with 3 and a 20 with 5 minutes to go. The score tied at 81. Russell to the fadeaway. Ostertag could not get to it.
That was Jim Gray's report. You got to get the ball into Ostertag's house and Ostertag's hands in the front of the rim. As soon as I learn how to talk and think at the same time, we can move on with this game.
Rodman setting up at the high post, finding Jordan. Rebounded by Malone. Michael Jordan, who can barely remain standing, leading the way with 32 and a foul called. The push putting Stockton on the floor, but it's a non-shooting call. Team foul number 4 committed by Chicago.
This has been the strategy for Chicago, especially in the fourth quarter, really only in the fourth quarter, running to double team Stockton to make him pick up his dribble and get the ball out of his hand.
Chicago's guards, Steve Kerr and Ron Harper, done a much better job on Stockton here tonight than they did in Game 4. Now, who's going to want to shoot here for Utah?
Oh, Malone, not what he had in mind. Karl Malone went to the air and then wasn't certain whether he wanted to pass it or shoot it, and that was the end result.
Good timeout here by Phil Jackson, because he would lose this timeout at the 2-minute mark. Michael Jordan needs all the breathers he can get.
You don't win the championship unless your best player delivers at the biggest moments. Karl Malone in Game 3 was huge, going to the hoop all night long. Game 4, he settled for the perimeter shot. Tonight, with everything on the line in a game the Jazz absolutely have to win, Karl Malone, 14 in the paint, 4 points on the jumpers. But again, with just 5 points in the second half, not enough.
But Karl is still not getting those opportunities at that high right elbow, top of the key area, where he can either take or fake that jump shot and then drive it hard.
The game tied at 81. And We've been tied at 81 for the last 2 minutes. And Kerr was pushed. Number 5 on Malone. He's hurt himself with some bad fouls. Remember number 3, which followed a poor shot, and then number 4 put him on the bench for a long time.
Well, you have to go out to the open man because Kerr, even though he's shooting the ball terribly from 3, you got to challenge it. You can't commit a foul like that.
Karl has always been a reach-in type defensive player. Never really played above the rim on the defensive end.
Aaron Jordan trying to go glass. Pippen could not convert on the rebound. Hornacek to Russell on the wing. He had Stockton on the other side, but did not see him. We're down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the fourth. The game tied at 81. Malone played by Rodman and double team. Pippen knocked it aside. Picked up, recovered though. Stockton for 3. But he hit that enormous three-pointer in game 4. And he just did it with 2 on the shot clock. 3-point Jazz lead. Bulls have missed their last 6 shots. Jordan, yes. But Jazz by 1 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
All game long, Russell forces him left, and then he gives up an easy right-hander. Jordan is too good to allow him into the middle of the lane.
Malone backing Rodman. And a foul against the Bulls, and they're upset. That is number 6 on Dennis Rodman.
Well, the Chicago Bulls defense doing a good job of cutting off Ostertag on that cut to the basket when Longley goes to for the double team. Here, the loose ball, the scramble, everybody diving around, and John Stockton calmly, with just 1 second left on the shot clock, with the huge 3, and Michael Jordan on the move, beating Russell to the right, hanging in the air, and finishing that shot off.
And then Karl Malone in the paint, the fadeaway on the arm, clearly by Dennis Rodman, forcing the shot to be short. And now Karl Malone again at the line with everything to be determined with these 2 foul shots.
Malone is 4 of 7 at the line. You see the stats on Rodman in 23 minutes, 7 rebounds, only 1 field goal, 2 points. He's been replaced by Tony Kukoc.
That's that lack of discipline we were talking about early in the game with Dennis Rodman when he picked up a couple of cheap fouls. If you get Karl Malone to take that fadeaway shot, you have to be happy. Just go up and challenge it. You never want to foul on that shot.
Utah with a 2-point lead. 2:25 remaining in the fourth. The chant of MVP for Karl Malone. Oh, he barely caught the left side of the rim.
Well, fading back and falling back, but he did that the other night and still made one.
Karl Malone's guarding Tony Kukoc. This is a very difficult matchup for him. Tony, incredibly smart.
Shot clock at 5, and a foul called on the Jazz. It's on Hornacek. Team foul number 5 for Utah. So both teams are now over the foul limit. And Scottie Pippen back to the line. He's 6 of 7 at the line, and he has an opportunity to tie the game. Chicago's now 18 of 26 at the line, so they will certainly have their chances as opposed to the other night.
You look at Scottie Pippen through this final series, up and down, playing with the bad foot, the heroic performance game 1, a little down, but that was all Michael Jordan in game 2. Game 3 comes back.
Kukoc able to rescue.
Come back to Jordan, he's clapping for it.
Chicago trailing by 1. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. remaining in the fourth. The Jazz with a 1-point lead. Hornacek at the step. Stockton for 3. And faced down by Russell. They get the new 24. And Stockton checking with Jerry Sloan. Utah good shape in terms of timeouts. 3:20 remaining. Shot clock at 10. Here's Malone stepping back for the fadeaway. Bad shot that is handled by Pippen. There was plenty of time on the 24.
And Phil Jackson calling for a pick and roll. Obviously, Michael Jordan to be the ball handler.
Down to 50 seconds. Here's Longley with the pick. There's Jordan. Foul. Hit on a reach-in. And you can just look at the body language on Michael Jordan. You get the idea he's having difficulty just standing up.
But Ostertag saves the day here as the defense broke down. Karl Malone with plenty of time on the shot clock. He can beat Luke Longley. He's fading away there. He's fading on his baseline shot from down low. He's fading on his free throws. Utah needs a timeout. Jerry Sloan needs to tell Karl Malone to go to the hoop.
Foul was called on Stockton. 46 seconds remaining in the fourth. We'll be right back. A look from overhead at the Delta Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, Bill Walton, Bob Rashad, Jim Gray. Utah has won 23 straight at home, 10-0 at home in the playoffs. You see the timeouts remaining. Michael Jordan, playing despite flu symptoms, has been able to hang in, looking exhausted right from the opening tip. And he's headed to the line for 2 shots, 9 of 10 at the line. All the free throws in the first half. 46 and 5/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. And it's the Jazz 85, the Bulls 84. Jordan, an 83% free throw shooter during the season. And the game is tied at 85.
Marv, the Bulls have been here so many times. The huge games, year after year. The confidence, the poise, the determination, the discipline and organization down the stretch, all paying off right now with Jordan masterfully at the line.
Jordan able to scoop up the loose ball for the possession with 40 seconds remaining. The game tied at 85. On the shot clock. Pippen backing Hornacek. Here's Jordan. Yes! Michael Jordan from straight away. He looks like he's a boxer just hanging on along the ropes, but able to hit for a 3-point Chicago lead. Beautiful feed. Ostertag cuts it to 1.
You got a foul right now. You got a foul. Karl Malone, what are you doing?
We're down to 10 seconds.
You got a foul.
As they open the floor. Longley able to put it home from Tony Kukoc. 3-point Chicago lead with 6 and 2/10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
That's hard to believe that you can lose track of time and score as Karl Malone did there right next to Pippen. He does have 5 fouls. No excuse. Should have committed one there.
the three-point attempt. Now Stockton trying to back it up. And we get a whistle of 0.2 of a second remaining. Now both teams are over the limit. And the foul is called on the Bulls. So Utah to the line. Foul on Pippen. And the strategy here is obvious. The Bulls up by 3. You got to hit the first and purposely miss the second and then hope for the best.
And you can't score on a tip, and I was thinking Chicago would foul on the inbounds pass to give up the free throws rather than give Stockton or Hornacek or Russell a look at a three-pointer.
I think you got to come with Ostertag, the height here, to tip over the top on a miss. They don't need to have Hornacek in it.
Hornacek only 2 of 11 from the field. He had that three-point opportunity going for the tie. Both coaches making decisions now. John Stockton to the line, but only 0.2 of a second remaining.
There will be no catch and shoot follow-up. First of all, John Stockton has to make the first one to give Utah any kind of chance at all, but you can score on a tip.
Positioning at the line after this first free throw will be critical. But John Stockton not able to hit, and that will do it because they're 3 points down. And now he hits the second. 0.2 of a second remaining. The inbounds, and the Chicago Bulls have defeated the Utah Jazz to take a 3-2 lead. They win it 90-88. A courageous, classic performance by the flu-ridden Michael Jordan. A performance that I think will go down as one of the greatest of his career because of the situation. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
Michael, one of the great performances, the way you were feeling. You played 44 minutes. It was all about will.
Yeah, you know, it's all about desire. You just got to come out here and do what you got to do. We wanted it real bad, you know, and me as a leader, I had to come out and do my best, and hopefully the team could rally around me and come out and make contributions.
Never any doubt down the stretch. How weak were you?
I was really tired. I was very weak. At halftime, I told Phil that use me in spurts, but I mean, somehow I found the energy. Just stay strong. I wanted it really bad.
All right, congratulations on a great game, Michael. Get some rest,
Thanks.
And we'll see you on Friday. Let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Scotty, what can you say about your teammate, Michael Jordan? You've seen this guy do everything. Have you ever seen him play under these kind of conditions and this illness?
No, I haven't. You know, it was a hell of an effort for him, you know, just to be able to come out and play in this game. And the effort that he gave us today was unbelievable. You know, as his teammates, you know, we should have stepped up and played much better basketball. But we really appreciate the way that he steps up and shows his leadership to our ball club.
What did he say to you guys? It looked as though at one point on the bench, like he nearly was exhausted and couldn't continue.
Well, he pretty much was. You know, he felt like he was going to faint. I guess he was pretty dehydrated and just tired. But, you know, he gutted it out. And, you know, we owe this win to him, man. He did everything that he could to carry us.
Where did he get this energy? Did he take an IV at halftime or before the game?
But this was a desperation game for us. And, you know, we had to come out and do what we did today and gut it out and play hard defense and just contain this team a little bit better than we did in the last couple games. And, you know, we couldn't deal with the sickness, the injuries. We had to play through everything. And somehow he was able to find that energy to give us that burst that we needed. 16
points behind in the first half. You come back and you take the lead. What was the thought process on the bench when you were behind by 16 and it looked as though to you guys you may be going home down 3-2?
Well, it was pretty much for us to just stay patient, you know, try to get a little bit back at a time and not really try to have any type of sense of urgency of trying to get back in the game. And we showed a lot of patience, and we were able to battle back in the game before the half.
As a player in these past 2 games, what does this say about the NBA and what we've just seen? I mean, it's pretty incredible, hasn't it been?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, both teams are really gutting it out. The games are coming down to the wire, and, you know, it's a matter of whoever executing down the stretch. And we made some big defensive stops that made the difference. At one time, I didn't think we was going to get any defensive rebounds, but we were able to stop them, and finally we were able to take control of this game.
You starting to smell that 5th ring?
Well, I don't want to get too overconfident right now, even though we're going home. But we're going to have to play this team just as hard right now. They're desperate, so it's going to be a tough game.
Scotty, congratulations.
All right, thanks.
All right, let's send it back to Marv Albert.
Thank you very much, Jim. No team has ever been down 3-2 of the NBA Finals and won games 6 and 7 on the road. That is the task facing the Utah Jazz. Only 6 teams have ever come back from a 3-2 deficit. That's the task facing the Utah Jazz. They had 123 straight at home. The last time they lost at home was to Seattle in overtime back on the 23rd of February. They were 10-0 at home in the playoffs. But tonight, the Bulls, led by Michael Jordan in a miraculous performance, defeat the Jazz 90-88. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, NBC Sports presents the 97th U.S. Open. Then join NBC on Friday in prime time at 9 o'clock Eastern for the Bulls and Jazz in Game 6. Stay tuned on most of these stations for The Tonight Show following your local news. And for those of you who'd like to continue with the NBA Finals coverage, interviews and post-game activities will be available coming up on CNBC. For Matt Dukas and Bill Walton, Ahmad Rashad and Jim Gray, Marv Albert saying so long from Salt Lake City, Utah.